Hey everybody, today's words to live by are: never interfere with your opponent when he or she is kicking their own ass. When I heard Senator John Kennedy say that, I shook my head, spat my coffee out, and just marveled at it because it's so true. And I've seen it play out, at least 100 times in my life, in various areas of my life, because no matter how spiritual we are, and I certainly try to be in my older age more spiritual, inevitably we're put into situations that are competitive. Sometimes it's of our own making because we're striving for something in a sport or a company or a relationship or something. And so we sort of welcome that competition. Other times we're not looking for it. And either way, the point here is that not every battle you fight needs your sword. And so in sports, in my sport of tennis, I can remember countless matches where I could tell my opponent was absolutely using the wrong strategy against me. And so I needed to sort of step back and say, you made your bed, metaphorically speaking, you need to sleep in it now, and just sort of like let things play out, because I was quite certain that my opponent was beating himself. In business, going up against a competitor in business who's maybe overzealous and has the wrong strategy to try to get the upper hand on you. Relationships, and I'm not talking about a husband-wife situation. I'm talking about relationships like sibling rivalries and extended families and all these different dynamics that we know take place within the family where it gets competitive. And I think the point here is definitely that not every battle needs your sword. And so if you step back, put your ego away, and allow your opponent to defeat themselves more often than not, that's the better strategy. And so I think for those of you who have heard me or followed me for a period of time, you understand that I always preach not being better than the next person, but being better than you used to be. And I think that strategy still applies. If you take that sort of mantra, the better you get from your previous versions of yourself, the higher you start to go up the ladder. And as you escalate, you get more and more people pulling on your coat and hangers on, and it turns into something that's competitive. And I'm smiling to myself right now because I can picture several situations with a particular group of people in my life in recent years where this absolutely applies, where I had to just step back and allow themselves to kick their own ass. And I think as long as I focused on just elevating and not paying anybody any mind other than just me trying to be better than I used to be, it's kind of like, okay, he or she can dig their own grave. And there's nothing I can do about it to help them. In some ways, your opponent sort of makes it worse by you doing nothing. So I think in competitive situations where we're putting them, this is just fantastic advice. It's kind of funny. And I just know, having experienced it, that it is absolutely true. The hands-off approach sometimes is the absolute very best approach when you're thrust into something that feels a little too competitive, or that maybe you don't have the answers for. Maybe the answer is just let it be. So I hope you enjoyed this reflection, and if you did, please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon.